What's happening, folks? 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 Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. Full-time reaction. It's full-time reaction. It's full-time reaction here at Tynecastle, here at the Allianz Arena. I'm here from Dens, here at Firth Park in the torrential rain. I've got Callum and Darren with me. I've got Martin and Kenny with me. I've got Chris back with me. I've got Stuart and Lee with me to go over it. It's the first starting 11 prediction of the season for Flag Day tomorrow against Kilmarnock at Celtic Park. Absolutely buzzing to get back to proper football tomorrow. Really looking forward to it. Should be a brilliant atmosphere, a full stadium display before the game, then the raising of the flag before the actual football gets underway. So lots to look forward to. Full-time reaction to Celtic 4, Kilmarnock 0. Great start to the season for us, Darren. I thought we played some brilliant stuff today from start to finish.
Well, I hope all the games throughout the rest of the season are as easy as that.
It is another starting 11 prediction for tomorrow's League Cup game against Hibs at Celtic Park. We obviously played Hibs in the league at Easter Road last weekend, ran out comfortable winners. The big disappointment from last season was going out so early at Rugby Park in that 1-0 defeat to Kilmarnock, so we've got to improve on that this season. It's full-time reaction to Celtic 3, Hibs 1. I've got Martin and Kenny back with me to go through it. Martin, safe passage through to the next round. What do you make of that this afternoon?
I mean, Maeda starts up front. You wonder, is it going to work? As you know, he hasn't played number 9 too often for us. It speaks for itself. The start of the game, he was exceptional.
What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel. We're here to react to the news breaking last night that Celtic have finally agreed a deal with Norwich for Adam Ida. It's 2 transfer videos in 2 days. Celtic are interested in 20-year-old Augsburg midfielder Arne Engels. Transfer news since I was last with you yesterday that Matt O'Reilly is on his way to Brighton to become Celtic's record sale, £25 million. Welcome to the Champions League draw live stream watch along. Celtic's fixtures for the Champions League new format are confirmed. It is Leipzig at home, Dortmund away, it's Club Brugge at home and Atalanta away from pot 2. From pot 3 it's Young Boys at home, Dinamo Zagreb away, and from pot 4 it's Slovan Bratislava at home and Aston Villa of the English Premier League away.
That was one of the questions from one of our viewers was, will Celtic Fans TV be at the away games? And I'm sure you'll make every effort to get yourself there as you've done in the last couple of years.
Aye, the intention is that we can go to all the away games as we have done in the last couple of seasons. Let's hope we can keep that up. What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel. It is the starting 11 prediction for tomorrow's derby at Celtic Park against Rangers. But first of all, the transfer window closed last night and Celtic had a manic deadline day and we brought in 3 players on permanent deals. We smashed our transfer record with the £11 million arrival of Arne Engels from Augsburg. Austin Trusty arrived for £6 million from Sheffield United, and right on the last minute, maybe even over the deadline, Luke McCowan for £1 million plus add-ons arrived from Dundee. Let's talk about tomorrow's derby then. Celtic have lost only one of the last 12 games against Rangers, 4 wins and 1 draw last season, ending in that Scottish Cup victory with Adam Ida's 90th minute winner. We were never behind in any of these derbies last season, which shows you how well we played in them, how well we approached them, and how well we started the games. I think tomorrow, in front of a packed home crowd, we've got that opportunity again. We've been starting games very well so far this season, getting early goals to take control of the game. I think if we start like that tomorrow and get an early goal and get after Rangers, we can make it a very long afternoon for them. What's happening, folks? Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It's a post-match pint in Malone's in Glasgow after Celtic 3, Rangers 0, and I've got Kenny and what's your name again? Callum is back with us, mate. I'll give the first word to you on your big return.
There's so much that's happened in 8 months. My last game was against Rangers, we beat them 2-1, and now this one, and in that time we've done so much.
Some things never change, mate.
Some things never genuinely change. The weather is 1 and beating Rangers is 2.
Moving on to the Champions League, we start second game back after this international break at home to Slovan Bratislava. It's the lowest ranked club we'll face. That's a huge opportunity for us to get points on the board. If you look at the fixtures after that, we've got Dortmund away, we've got Atalanta, we've got Leipzig at home, so that first game is a massive chance for us, isn't it?
I think Rodgers has got a bit of pressure on him. I really do. This is now going to be his 4th campaign in the Champions League. He had 2 in the previous stint, and now he's also had 1 last year. Now this will be his 4th one at it. So I think he's under a bit of pressure to do well.
It's full-time reaction to Celtic 5, Slovan Bratislava 1. I've got Callum and Darren with me to go over what I think must be Celtic's biggest ever Champions League victory. Darren, what a night.
Couldn't ask for anything. Well, we could ask for a bit more because it could have been 8-0, but I think coming out here, just looking at the people walking past us, leaving the stadium, everybody's absolutely buzzing, and rightfully they should be.
But it is Falkirk tomorrow. Brendan Rodgers has obviously got a huge amount of respect for John McGlynn, who worked with him at Celtic in his first tenure here. Falkirk have obviously been playing good football, won League One last season. They're on this really long undefeated league run. I think it stands at 43 games now, so they've got a bit about them. I think they play some good football, which is not always the case as you move down even the Premiership and into the Championship. Reactions to Celtic 5, Falkirk 2 as Celtic secure passes to the semi-final in the League Cup. I've got Darren and Martin with me. Full-time reaction from McDiarmid Park after St Johnstone 0, Celtic 6. Kenny, where do you even begin with that? Some absolutely brilliant football on show from start to finish.
I mean, before we even talk about the specifics of the game, we're playing at a level now that I believe is as good a level as since when Brendan was last here.
Real excitement about the Champions League off the back of that win against Bratislava. We know it's going to be so tough over there on Tuesday against a side like Dortmund, but we could hardly be in better domestic form. And because we've had that win against Bratislava, hopefully the team have taken some sort of belief for that. I think that's the big test for us in the Champions League this season. Can we show that we've progressed psychologically, that we've got that belief now to go and give these teams a real game? We're in Dortmund. It's the first ever Celtic Fans TV quiz. We've got Kenny versus Callum, 10 questions each. Here we go. We're starting with Kenny. Correct. It's off to a strong start.
Don't be worried, mate.
Joe Hart, correct. Correct. Right. Yep. 2004. 6 out of 10.
Yeah, that's a round of applause, by the way. That's decent, by the way.
6 out of 10, right.
Well done.
Callum and Darren up next. Out of time. Boys, you've had 10 seconds longer. Out of time.
How many we need? Two more? 6?
7. It was 7.
Embarrassing for you lot.
Time.
Neil Lennon.
Dillian Petrov.
By how many?
Question 6. That's a hard one, actually.
Mate, they've all been
I
hard.
thought you used to be doing better.
I would have took his questions. No, mate, no, that's ahead of time. The Fortuny.
Yeah!
Full-time reaction. You need to laugh, mate.
You can't even
laugh.
like muster like your voice,
Dortmund
mate.
7, Celtic 1.
How? Stuttgart 5-1? Celtic 7-1, how? What happened in Stuttgart? But you're talking 13 goals. Or 12. 12 swing. A 12 swing.
Nah. Dortmund, okay. Celtic, Shizer.
Celtic take on Aberdeen tomorrow. It's a huge game for us. Aberdeen are joint on points with us. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2, Martin. Where do you even begin to sum up that?
That game had everything, and you come a bit disappointed because you've dropped points, and you want to continue that run of maximising your points. But I don't feel too disappointed, even though we're 2-0 up in the game. I'm sure the manager will be absolutely raging in there.
Time to look ahead to the big Champions League clash on Wednesday in Italy against Atalanta. I'm delighted to be joined by Nigel.
You've probably caught us at the worst possible time. We're in really, really good shape at the moment.
Martin, you'll take that in any Champions League away day now, wouldn't you? Away from
Oh, fantastic. I mean, the build-up to the game, nobody gave us a chance.
Tomorrow, the League Cup semi-final at Hampden Park against Aberdeen. It is post-match pint after Celtic 6, Aberdeen 0 at Hampden in the League Cup semi-final as ever.
But in terms of going back to the league, they can just put the cup behind them now. They're still level with us in the league, so they still technically have something to fight for. I don't see Aberdeen being a threat because I just don't think they've got the squad to consistently win games.
I hope, and I think we might motor away. I think we showed our strength today. But the big test for us again is going from domestic football into that big game on Tuesday against Leipzig. They got beat at Dortmund today. We know what that's like. 2-1 they went down at Dortmund. They haven't got any points yet in the Champions League, so this is a huge game for them in the context of their Champions League campaign. It's going to be really, really tough, obviously. Celtic 3, RB Leipzig 1. I've got Callum and Martin with me to go over. Martin, what felt like a proper classic Celtic Champions League night?
The football we played tonight was off the scale good, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't even one touch sometimes, I mean, it wasn't a touch and pass, it was just like boom, 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 boom.
I'm glad I was there. That's a memory, that's a moment, and tonight was one of those.
So, the international breaks are finally over, and what a run of fixtures Celtic have got coming up. Full-time reaction to Hearts 1, Celtic 4 here at Tynecastle on Saturday night, Martin. Took us a wee bit to get going, but I thought we were brilliant second half, really comfortable in the end, innit?
I did get a good feeling immediately in the second half that the goal was going to come, and then once it came, I thought the outcome was inevitable. And I was reflecting on the season so far in the league and how few goals we've conceded, and I thought it wouldn't be good to go another game without conceding a goal. I think that one we conceded today was our 4th goal in the league, and I think we've now scored, I think it's something like 35. Unbelievable goal to game ratio. We're scoring goals, but we're not conceding them.
Well, it's time to look ahead to Wednesday's big Champions League clash against Club Brugge, and I'm delighted to be joined by Hans Noël from the De Klok podcast.
Really looking forward to the Celtic Park atmosphere and your rendition of the You'll Never Walk Alone anthem.
It's full-time reaction to Celtic 1, Club Brugge 1 here at Celtic Park. I've got Callum and Darren with me to go over it. Callum, that was a tough, tense 90 minutes. We come out with it with a point.
Aye, it's tough, and you'll get those games in Europe from time to time. Probably the most positive that I can come out with is that we've not lost the game, because at certain points, probably majority, I felt like it was slipping away.
Coming up tonight is the starting 11 prediction for tomorrow's trip to Pittodrie to face Aberdeen. Aberdeen are having some problems now in terms of results, some big injuries as well. They're going to have to navigate that. That's what you have to do through the course of a season. Full-time reaction to a massive victory here at Pittodrie for Celtic. 1-0 it finished in absolutely horrendous conditions. As you can see, I've got Martin with me. Martin, I think that just goes to show you that this team this season is finding a way to win all sorts of games.
I just had a funny feeling, despite the conditions that we're going to get a goal. Most people would have been looking at it thinking it's almost impossible to score. It was a crazy game, and a lot of shots that were taken by both sides, it resulted in a throw-in.
It's a massive victory in the context of the season. That's 7 points clear Aberdeen, a game in hand as well. I think we've extended it again today because it looks like Aberdeen are 1-1 with St Johnstone. So what a position we're in the league, but we go to Champions League duty in Zagreb on Tuesday, which is a big game for us.
It's a huge opportunity for us, isn't it? Even a point would be great. I think Zagreb had a weak result yesterday. Whether they rested players or not, I don't know. They've not been doing that well domestically, but they have been doing pretty well in the Champions League. And I'm sure it's going to be a relatively intimidating environment that we'll go and play in difficult winter conditions.
Finally match day, so looking forward to tonight. I've got the sports paper of the day here in Zagreb, and the headline is victory opens the door of heaven. I think a point for us wouldn't be the end of the world with the games that we've got to come, but a point for Dinamo wouldn't be a good result. It really is a game that they have to win. Full-time reaction to Dinamo Zagreb 0, Celtic 0 here at the Maximia. We take a point, we go on to Young Boys at the end of next month, and we park the Champions League for now, and it's the League Cup duty at the weekend at Hampden in the final against Rangers. A huge game for us with huge implications. It's a great day for Celtic, it's a terrible day for Rangers. Celtic have won the League Cup. I've got Callum and Darren with me to go over. Darren, one of the craziest, most pulsating, enthralling end-to-end games I can remember being at for years. 6 goals, extra time, penalty shootout, about 1 million yellow cards. We've won the cup. This manager and this captain and this team have found a way to win again when they weren't at their best for long periods of that game today. What a feeling, what a relief at the end. I'm recording this on Christmas Eve. You'll probably be watching it Christmas Day and early Boxing Day, so I just want to say a Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you so much for all the support throughout the year. As always, I hope you all enjoy the day with your families. The context of this calendar year is that we've lost 2 games, one to Borussia Dortmund and one to Hearts when we had those that red card decision, the penalty decision as well. We lost 2-0 at Tynecastle that day. That's the only domestic defeat of this calendar year. So we've had a brilliant start to the season. We've won all our league games so far except for the 2 draws against Aberdeen and that one on Sunday. So we're fine. We're sitting pretty. We're 9 points clear. So we're sitting 12 points clear. It's now 14 points. I've got Martin with me, and I've got a Celtic Fans TV debut, for Lee as well.
I think it's the best sort of technical side I've seen from Celtic, technically gifted side for a long time.
It is the preview show for the derby against Rangers on the 2nd of January. I've got Chris back with me to look ahead to this one. Callum, probably more like a post-mortem than a post-match pint, to be honest. After that 90 odd minutes that we just watched, Celtic 3, St Mirren 0. I've got Lee and Martin with me. Martin, back on the horse, back to winning ways after Thursday. What did you make of that one today?
I had a good feeling coming into the game that we would respond in the right way.
Talking about the league games coming up, we obviously need to keep the level high, but I think you're gearing up towards a couple of weeks' time, the big game here against Young Boys, where again, whether it's centre half and getting that continuity, you want players hitting their top level, because that's the game that we need to go and win. I'm sure we were all shocked as each other when we learned after the game last night that the MLS had announced that Atlanta United had signed Kyogo during the game last night. They made the announcement on the website, and then they obviously deleted the post. According to sources in Scotland, Celtic have had no contact and no bids placed for Kyogo, which I suppose is good news, but all of this stuff begs the question, is Kyogo's exit imminent? Welcome to a freezing Dingwall. However cold you think it is watching this video, I can assure you it's colder than that. Welcome to the Global Energy Arena, I think they're calling it these days, where it finished. Ross County 1, Celtic 4. If I was to pick a man of the match to the day, I'd probably have to give it to Kyogo. Fabrizio Romano and Sky Sports News and all the big sort of transfer media outlets sharing the news today that Kieran Tierney is very close to agreeing that pre-contract agreement with Celtic. We go to Scottish Cup duty now against Kilmarnock on Saturday, and then it's all eyes on that big Champions League game against Young Boys next week. It's full-time reaction to Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 1. We get in the next round of the Cup, and that's what it's all about. But I think the performance level could be better. And as always, when we've got big games on the horizon, you're analysing the performance, thinking, is this sort of level of performance going to be good enough coming into these bigger games? And we've got Young Boys here on Wednesday, which is a massive game. I'm delighted to be joined by Craig King from Football Swiss EN.
Yeah, it's all there for Celtic to win this game, and they definitely should take that opportunity that's in front of them.
Celtic are in the playoffs of the Champions League. I've got Callum and Lee with me to go over a chaotic 90 minutes. Lee, if you look at that scoreline and see it's 1-0, that will not tell you the full story of that game, will it?
Cal McGregor was outstanding, and he led the team, and everything he did was class, and I just have to say Cal McGregor that night.
On the way home last night, we were greeted with the news that Kyogo was due to depart us for Rennes. Almost out of the blue, we woke up one morning and we'd signed a striker for Japan and nobody knew anything of him. He immediately hit the ground running. He scored a hat-trick on his Celtic Park debut. He is the player that has given me the most joy in a Celtic shirt since Henrik Larsson. That's the highest compliment that I can pay him. Celtic have made their first signing of the January transfer window, and he's here. He's back. It's Jota. He signed a 5-year deal until the summer of 2030, and about half an hour later, Rennes confirmed the permanent signing of Kyogo. So Jota's in, Kyogo's gone. It's time to look ahead to the final Champions League game of the league phase, and I'm delighted to be joined by Luke from the Up the Villa channel.
I imagine it's going to be loud. I imagine the media are going to pin it as, the Battle of Britain and England v Scotland. So it's obviously going to have that little bit of niggle between the fans, isn't it? Because it's just that rivalry of the two different countries, really. So
it's full-time reaction to Aston Villa 4, Celtic 2 here at Villa Park. I think after the first 5 minutes to get back level at 2-2 and then to be in the game second half, you wouldn't have called that after 5 minutes tonight, would you?
They probably gave it our all. They were by far the better team. Athletically, the speed they've got, the power, the strength in some of these guys. 4-2 probably wasn't too harsh on us, to be honest with you.
Full-time reaction tomorrow, 1 Celtic 3 here at Fir Park. I've got Lee and Kenny with me.
And then Jota, I won't preempt our discussion about Jota, but what a fairy tale when he comes on there to finish. If that's him rusty, I fear for the rest of the league, because he didn't, he was sharp as a tack. and just the connection he has with the support. You know, there's a much bigger crowd of people behind us than there ever has been when we've been doing these videos at Fir Park, and it's only for one reason, because you've got an icon back, and apparently he looked like he was in tears there at the end. And who doesn't want to see that? So a great afternoon, and that was just a fairy tale finish.
Nice full-time reaction to Celtic 5, Wraith Rovers nil. I've got Callum and Stuart with me to go through it. Callum, into the next round of the Cup. The Champions League draw has been done. I'm sure you've seen the news already. Celtic will face Bayern Munich in the knockout phase playoff. I'm delighted to be joined by Liam from the Bayern View.
To be honest with you, it's going okay. But we are top of the table, so, you know.
It's full-time reaction to Celtic 1, Bayern Munich 2. Really difficult game up against a team of that level, Stuart, and we thought we had the perfect start.
I want VAR to be completely removed from football, man.
Is that
like,
10 seconds and you've spoken about VAR?
As we said on paper, we're still in the tie next week. It's obviously a really, really, really tall order to go to Allianz Arena next week and try and overturn a 2-1 deficit. Don't think anybody really expects that of us, but...
So there's a balance, like... defend, but don't sit too deep and literally just basically play like a Craig Levein, like a 4-6-0, no striker.
We're here at the Allianz Arena after Bayern Munich 1, Celtic 1. I am at a loss for words after that. I mean, I come away so immensely proud of the team there. I thought that was outstanding. I thought that was the best Celtic away performance in Europe for decades. I think you can scarcely ask any more of anyone tonight. The players, the manager. I thought to a man we were outstanding. I think it's absolute heartbreak at the end, and we come into this game with zero expectation, and then I suppose as you enter added time, you've got a bit of expectation that we might just get them to extra time. And listen, who knows what would have happened in extra time, but I thought we were incredible. Full-time reaction to St Mirren 2, Celtic 5. Delighted to have Martin back with me to go through it. Martin, big 3 points, 16 clear now. What's full-time reaction to Celtic 2, Hibs 0? Objective achieved, they were in the semis, scored to Hampden.
Well, it's all about just getting through in the Cup, but I thought we controlled the game from start to finish today. Hibs didn't really offer too much.
It is the preview show for Sunday's derby at Celtic Park against Rangers. Full-time reaction to Celtic 2, Rangers 3. I've got Martin and Callum here with me. Martin, another second derby in a row where we're left licking our wounds at the end. The final international break of the season is over. We're officially on the home straight, the business end of the season. There's 2 trophies up for grabs for Celtic over the space of the next 9 or 10 games. It's full-time reaction to Celtic 3, Hearts 0 here at Celtic Park. I've got Lee and Kenny with me to go over it. Kenny, another step closer to sealing the title.
I thought there was a bit on the game today in terms of showing a reaction to the derby defeat.
It's full-time reaction to Celtic 5, Kilmarnock 1. I've got Lee and Callum here with me.
Well, for next week, I don't think it's down to ability, because we've got way more than St Johnstone do, obviously. But there needs to be that same dig, that same effort, intensity right at them for the first minute. Because when we're like that, we're miles ahead of everybody. Now it's starting to hit me when I was walking round here. You see the flags at the 55 on the flags and all that's going about. We are nearly there.
It's full-time reaction to Celtic 5, St Johnstone 0. We're back in another Scottish Cup final. I've got Stuart and Martin here to go through it with me. The floodgates opened after we got that first goal, and I thought we were brilliant.
It would have been easy for the manager to say after a great season, look, you're going to get 1-0s away to St Johnstone's and teams like that, because it does happen in the course of a season and you underperform. But he's not prepared to accept that dip in form, and to do it in a league game at home is one thing, but to do it in a semi-final is a statement for some of these players to say, look, I need you to be at your best week in, week out, and I need a strong start. So that again was a message today.
Well, it is the starting 11 prediction for tomorrow's trip to Tannadice, where we can finally seal the league title mathematically on our own accord tomorrow. We only need a point in the game. We're 15 points clear of Rangers, 15 points to play for, and just the 40 odd goals better off than them as well. So let's hope tomorrow we can do it in style, and everybody around the world can enjoy another league title party. What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Celtic are the champions of Scotland once again. It's finished. Dundee United 0, Celtic 5 here at Tannadice.
Somebody else told me another stat actually today, and I don't know if it's true, I've not checked it out, but Brennan's won the league 3 times, all away games, and all of them 5-0.
Wow.
So really incredible start.
Yeah, I mean, look, the narrative from the captain, from the managers being they want to sprint over the line, they don't want to fall over the line. 15 goals in the last 3 games tells you they've sprinted over the line.
Kenny, we go to Ibrox next weekend. It's, I suppose, Scottish Cup final, outstanding. It's the only blotch on the season that we've lost twice to Rangers. Next weekend, yes, it doesn't have as much riding on it as your usual derby, because we have won the league, the job's done, but there's always a lot riding in these games without that, and I think next weekend we will be motivated to correct that, but I think maybe just need to guard against a bit of a drop off when you have the big pressure release of getting over the line with the title. Rangers won, Celtic won at Ibrox. I've got Callum and Darren here with me.
And going 1-0 behind in the atmosphere and in that environment, it could have so easily been an 3-0 game like January, it could have been. But I think the team showed a little bit of bottle and a little bit of resilience. I thought, a lot of people think that this is just a walkover and Rangers are going to beat us. No, we'll stand up, and I think Celtic did stand up to get the goal back.
We go to Pittodrie tomorrow for what will be billed as a dress rehearsal for that Scottish Cup final next weekend.
What's your initial reaction to that? Another stellar performance for the Hoops. 5-1 at Pittodrie.
Overall, brilliant performance from us.
St Mirren the weekend wraps it all up. I want another barnstorming performance, to be honest with you, mate. I think anything less than 5 these days seems like a disappointment.
We're here in Malone's, it's trophy day. As you can tell, it's a bit noisy here. I've got a sore throat, I can barely talk. I've got Callum and Stuart with me to go over it.
Now, I'm somebody that can talk a lot, but I don't know how much I can talk about Celtic in the first maybe 70 minutes of that football game.
James Forrest, I think he comes on 70, 75 minutes, as it's been the case for the last 4 or 5 games. Every time he gets the ball, 30 yards for goal, you just hear thousands of people shouting, shoot. It almost just felt like fate give that ball to James Forrest. You know, I think we can all agree it's probably one of the most sentimental moments we've had this season.
It comes something and you just go, everyone screams, shoot! And it just happens. He hits it, it goes in, and then the decibels was unbelievable. The noise was incredible. It was like we had won a major final in Europe. Of like, everyone was just super proud. You speak about the last few weeks and months. As soon as James Forrest touched the ball in his own half, shoot, shoot. It's like, right, relax, relax. But that moment was his moment.
What a prospect for the team, the chance to go and wrap up another domestic treble, what would be a 6th domestic treble in 9 years. It would continue this remarkable period, this historical period of dominance that we are currently living through. It's against Aberdeen. We've had good results against them all season, and I think much of the talk going into this game, particularly after that 5-1 win at Pittodrie last week, is that we're just going to turn up and win 3, 4, 5, and I think as long as the players and the manager don't have that mindset and they go with the intent to perform to a high level tomorrow. What's happening, folks? Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It's the post-match pint here at Malone's in Glasgow. As always, after Aberdeen won, Celtic won at Hampden. Aberdeen won 4-3 in a penalty shootout. I've got Kenny here with me. It's a tough one. It's not the end to the season that we wanted. We wanted to be sitting here after another treble, having a beer and celebrating, but wasn't to be today. It was Aberdeen's day. How do you sum up your emotions after that?
A big anti-climax today, there's no doubt. We can really have no complaints in terms of the result. We didn't pepper the goal, and I think there's just a lot of food for thought actually now going into pre-season. Perspective on the season, look, let's try and divorce ourselves from the emotion of today. If I'd have sat here at the start of August with you and said, Paul, the outcome of the season is we win the league again, we beat Rangers in a cup final, we win a double, we qualify from the Champions League table, and we take one of the giants of Europe to the final minute in their own patch in the knockouts, you'd have bit your hands off for that. The big takeaway from this season is restoring some credibility in Europe, and that has happened.
Let's hope we do push on again next season. Not the way we wanted to finish. Personally, I just want to thank everybody for their support this season. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. We're getting very close to 45,000. Thank you for all the comments, everybody who comes up to me at games, in the pub, comments on social media, supports us. Thank you so much. Not the party that we wanted to end with, but that is it from Malone's Bar on another Celtic season, on a double winning Celtic season. Wherever you are, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.